So I've cleared out this area for the mass storage, and we are this is actually one level below where I'm going to go, so I'll take that into account. But basically we're going to have 2 chests here, one for stuff and this one for shulkers to unload. There's going to be a water stream, so it's going to pipe up to the top and then go across here, and then all the hoppers collecting everything are going to be here. So the storage is going to go along that way. And I've done it this way to make sure that it is chunk aligned. So we have this area here marked out with the torches where I've got to dig down. So this 5x8 area, I've got to dig down 4 levels below where I want the chests. So the chests are basically sitting on top of this scaffolding, so I need to go down an extra 3. So now that we've got this hole dug, this is everything that we're going to need to set this up. So we need 9 hoppers, a dispenser, a dropper, 2 comparators, 5 repeaters, 3 observers, a redstone torch, 6 chests, 1 stone slab. We only need one stone slab, a piston, a sticky piston, some redstone dust, probably around, I think it's 7 that we need for this specific part. Then you only need 1 water bucket, but it doesn't hurt to have a spare. And then for the item elevator, we're going to need some soul sand, kelp, and bone meal. Also good to have some scaffolding, and you'll need some ice, packed ice or blue ice. So first up, let's orient ourselves. So underneath here is where we're going to have the water elevator. We will build that later once we've got everything else in place, but this helps us to set where everything is going. So then leading into the water elevator, we need a dropper. So turn around and face it in this way. Basically what's going to happen is we're going to send all the items into here. The dropper is going to then be on a clock and shoot it up and into the sorting system like that. So next up, let's build the clock. So we've got a comparator facing out, put it in subtract mode. And then you want a redstone repeater going out of that. We want a redstone repeater going in this way, solid that leads into a solid block. And then dust goes up around like so. So we've got this sort of pattern going. So this is the back of the dropper. Comparator is facing away in subtract mode, repeater on 1 tick, and then dust all around, dust back here, and then repeater goes into this block here. So let's test whether this works. So when I put this in, it should shoot them all out individually. And then stop as soon as everything's gone. There we go. Works perfectly. Excellent. Love it when things work first time. So with our hoppers, you want to crouch and place. So we're going to go 3 across, and then 1 that goes straight into here, and 1 into here. So these 3 hoppers lead straight into this dropper here. This hopper here leads into that one, and that one leads into that one. So we need a solid block here. Grab your piston and face it this way. This is going to be the one that breaks the shulkers. And we need a couple of temporary blocks so that we can place the dispenser correctly, because the dispenser's got to face down. So we crouch and face down, make sure that that hole is here. That means that the dispenser is facing down. So what's going to happen is the shulkers are going to be dispensed into here. They're going to drain through here and go up into the item elevator here, and then get broken by the piston. Come up here, and with your hopper, so you want to crouch and aim for that. Then we need a chest on top. We will make it a double chest later, but for now, 1 chest is good enough. So grab your repeater and put it on top of the piston facing into the dispenser, and put that on 3 ticks. Server's being a little glitchy. So you want to dig out this one here, so 2 away from there. Replace this one with a top slab. Observer facing this way. We can dig that out now. And then we're going to put a repeater facing this way on 1 tick. And then an observer facing that repeater, the comparator facing out from here. This comparator goes into a block, so crouch in place. Then let's give us some room, because we're going to need to put a sticky piston upside down against here. And don't fall down that giant mine shaft. That would be bad. So facing up, place a sticky piston so that the sticky piston is connected to the observer. So we've got a block here, we can get rid of this block. So we've got a gap underneath this one here, and basically what's going to happen as it reads the signal, this is going to push up and down, which is going to cause the shulker to break. So now that we're up here, so this is the sticky piston, we want to put that on 2 ticks and then grab your redstone torch and put that on top of the sticky piston. And then we want to get, might need to manipulate some scaffolding, but oh, no, that's right. So we want an observer facing into this repeater here, which then butts into this repeater, which goes to here. We need a block here, a block here, because we need to have a way to trigger this manually. So I changed my mind, replace that with glass, so that if anything goes wrong with the shulker, we can kind of see visually whether it is loading. So then we want to put a button on top of here, and then redstone dust on here. So essentially what will happen, we'll load our shulker boxes full of stuff into here, and then hit this one to start the process, and it will dispense the shulker into here, unload everything, and then break it, and the shulker will land in there, which will then feed back into here, and that will go into our storage system, and that will be all good. So we have the shulker unloader working. Let's get the regular item unloader working, and this is going to be really simple. So all we need to do is run a line of hoppers going straight up to this level here, and then we're going to put a chest on top of that. Pretty simple setup. So what's going to happen, if we have stacks of things, loose items, whatever, we put them in here. It's literally going to flow down there, go across into the dropper here. The dropper is going to spit it into the water column, which is then going to take it into our sorting system. So the next step is to build our water column. So I'm going to use glass for this, just because I always like using glass for these. It's good to see. So we need to put glass right the way around, and I want this to be 7 levels higher than this, because I want to have a series of chests. You'll see that in another video when we get to the sorting system, but I want this to go up 7 from the ground, which will be at this level here. And it turns out I have built this 1 block too short. And while I'm up here taking out the blocks, I've got my little allay helper going and grabbing everything so that nothing gets wasted, and so I don't have to worry about running around and getting it. Love allays. See, they even work underground. So the actual water column is going to be 6 above there, and then we're going to have the hoppers along this 7th row. So we've gone up 7 from the ground. Yes, this seems excessive, but this is for our bulk storage. So put a water column in there. So if we take this out, water, nothing's going to happen. That's good. So we want, oh man, 1 more. Okay, so we want to be able to plant kelp down the bottom. Then as the kelp grows up, it's actually going to turn everything into water source blocks. There we go, so we've got water source blocks right to the top. And so now we can come back in here, make sure you've got your soul sand in hand, because we're going to swap out this block here. Going to swap out this dirt block for soul sand, which is going to turn this into a bubble elevator. Yoink. So let's close this one up. Now anything that goes into this elevator is going to be shot to the top. The last one for this video, we need to set it up so that it goes around a corner. Give ourselves some light up here. There we go, that's better. Okay, so from here we've got this roof on here so that nothing spills off this way. Yeah, this one here needs to be ice, not glass. So we're going to try and swap it real quick without destroying any of the redstone below. There we go. All good. Sweet. Okay, so the water is going to flow one block, and then here it's going to turn a corner at this point here. So at this point here, we need to put a double chest crouch in place. So the water's going to come across, it's going to hit this, and then it's going to flow down that way. The water's going to go there, everything's going to flow down. Needs to be a double chest. I've tried it with a single chest, and that is insufficient. So a single chest, some of the times we will actually get stuck in the middle there. So we need a double chest at this point. Excuse me, LA. 8. So for this part here, since we've got everything going to be aligned, I haven't quite decided yet where I'm going to start the hopper line, but everything is in alignment, so we're going to need window panes at this point here. Let's go to there. So see, there's a gap in here. Hopefully the LA doesn't get stuck, because LAs tend to get stuck in the silliest places. But see how there's a gap here? That actually doesn't matter, because the water is going to flow around here. It's going to hit there, line up, and then it's going to go in a straight line there. But if you only had one chest here, it does, sometimes as it bubbles up from the column, it comes from different parts of the column. And so it can actually cut the corner and get stuck in there, or pass right the way through that gap. But that gap is not important for this. So at the top of the water column, we have this one here. Hit that and see it, the water's going to come around, and we did have one for good luck. So let's close this off, because we don't want items bubbling around up here. So as it comes up, it's going to hit this, and we want it to stay stuck. Let's just test it out and see where all the items go. But imagine this is all part of the floor. You don't see anything. You just put your stuff in the chest there, goes down, gets popped out. And let's have a look up here. Should be coming around nicely. See, it lines up with that chest and comes around nicely, and there would be hoppers through here. Well, not at this exact point, but down the line, this line's going to continue, and everything gets sucked into the hoppers and nothing gets stuck, and that is excellent. So that's it for this episode of GuildRock, where we built a shulker loader and a regular loader to transport items into our stream, ready for item sorting. I will see you in the next one, where we will be sorting all the items. Have a good one.